Mazda CX-5. This is the 2013 flavor with 283,000 miles. Doing a control arm today, just one. Why? Well, the passenger side was done already by another shop, and the person that owns the car couldn't afford to do both at the same time. Now it's time to do the driver's side. I'll show you why. It shouldn't be like this. This is the passenger side control arm. Why? During the road test, we're still hearing some clunking, and this is the passenger side I just removed. Yep, that's trash. Got the new guy there. So there you go. Moog, the problem solver, got a problem, gonna solve it. That's why we choose their parts. And it's cheap. But it's not just because it's cheap and functional. Moog is like our go-to for standard replacement parts because it's cheaper than OEM, but in our opinion, probably wrong, similar or potentially even better quality. Now, wear parts on this. You've got this ball joint, that can go bad. You've got this bushing in here, that can go bad. Now, this bushing back here is just one of these suspended bushings that it allows a little bit of movement like you saw in the video, and this rubber, just like a transmission mount, can just fail. And when that happens, you're gonna hear as you're going down the road. So when this fails, you have to replace the whole part. I don't know, maybe you could service it, but why? It's just cheap enough to get the whole thing, and then you get the ball joint and all the other stuff with it. So step one, get the tire off. You want to make sure you put your jack somewhere that's not on the control arm you're about to take off. So the subframe's right here. Jack and jack stand are going to go there. And this is a brand new aluminum jack stand. Wonder how that's going to work out. You might be able to buy one from Harbor Freight online as well. Do you need air tools? No. But do they make the job easier? Yep. We've got this one bolt down here. We've got the ball joint to contend with. And then we've got this end of the control arm on the forward side of the car. The bolt's up back in here. The easiest way to get to it is from underneath, which means we have to get all of these 10mm bolts out of this little skid plate and get it out of the way so that we can access our control arm right about there. And it's worth noting that even with this special pry tool, I still broke all these little plastic clips that hold this thing on the back. You got like, you know, one of them there, and I don't know, there are a few along the back here. I'm going to show you how to zip tie fix it if that's what you want to do. But if not, make sure you buy like 4 or 5 of these things, or maybe just like a 15 pack, because they're going to break when you pull it out. And now that that cover's out of the way, you can see that bolt right there is the one for the front of the control arm. It's going to be a 19mm bolt. I put it on a wobble adapter here and a short extension. So then I can get my impact tool right here, get it off. This guy just doesn't have the power. Little bit of PB blaster. Gonna PB blast this whole area. And a little bit here as well. Okay, so 15mm bolt and nut on this guy. That one came out just fine. Safety flops. But I cannot seem to get this with the impact or the PB blaster. So we're moving to the fire. So big breaker bar, eat a bowl of Wheaties, and then you can get this thing to budge. No, I'm just kidding. I already broke it loose, but it was really difficult. Breaker bar plus fire was the win on this one too. Maybe I just need a better impact gun. Boop. That's goofy. Dum 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 dum. This is dumb dum dum dum. Got it. Okay, so we are disconnected here, disconnected there. Last piece here is to disconnect this, and we are going to do that with a pickle fork. With the exception of air tools and a torch and a breaker bar, I'm using these pickle forks, ball joint separators, pry tool, made by OMT, whatever you call these, get you a set. And then I got these tight spot sockets, and now this guy, it's got like this massive kit of 1/2-inch impact sockets, and it was cheap, but not from Temu. And it's from an American company, as far as I understand. Somebody proved me wrong. I don't think the sizes are marked on this, but all you want to do, pick you a size that fits around this little ball joint, and then you're going to get it to where it's snug, hit this end with the hammer, and what that's going to do, it's going to push it towards the ball joint and separate the ball joint from that little knuckle. anything as a hammer. So I couldn't find one of those regular looking hammers, so I used the odd shaped one. And you kind of see what it did there. So that's the separation we're looking for. We can kind of keep going with it here. So close. Silliness. I was pulling them like it's not budging. One more bolt. Extra guy there was a 19, and it came out really easy. Now, let's see what we can do here. Maybe. You gotta slide it out from that little cubby hole. And, we're still not fully separated from the knuckle. So I think I need to work on this a little bit more and kind of keep finagling stuff to see if I can get it to go. I used a longer pry tool there to get out of the knuckle because I was getting close to pulling the CV axle out. Things got dicey. And, done. There we go. Now I can show you what I mean by this bushing failing. Look how loosey-goosey that is. Clunking down the road. This one still has some play because it should. Everything has to shift so it doesn't bind, but it shouldn't be like this. Look at that. Look, you can see it's just completely separated. This vehicle, if that fails, you're riding a tow truck. Pay attention to your new ball joint. If it doesn't have a grease circ, then it's already pre-greased. You don't have to do anything with it. Make sure you take the cover off before you go to install it. Maybe not a necessary step, but thread locker blue, because why not? Well, this is interesting. You can get this bolt in and aligned before this is aligned. And there's a little spot up here you can kind of like pry stuff, you know, in between the frame and the control arm here until you get this bolt aligned. And you want everything to go in just a few threads before you tighten anything down. Yeah, come on. Ugh. Maybe. Same thing with the front here. You can kind of get it aligned by just moving the whole control arm, right? And again, everything just goes a few threads before you get all of this connected. Otherwise, you bind up and you're going to have problems. After you get a few threads and all the bolts, come in here and line this up, kind of wiggle, 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 wiggle. And then get the jack here. And I like to use my feet. And you kind of just press up till it's all in there. Let's see if we can get another. Yeah, we're almost there. Yeah. Woo! Got it. Now guys, I kind of screw around a lot on the channel, but torque specs on a control arm, I like to do it. And before we torque anything, very important, we want to set it to ride height. What's ride height? It's about half the distance of the travel. So we're going to use the jack here. See if I can stabilize this a little bit. You can see the sway bar link moving up and down there. That's our reference point. And that's all the way up, so we're going to go halfway down. That's all the way. I think that's about half. What do you guys think? Set it the right height before you torque it down, otherwise you put unnecessary pressure on the bushings. You're going to wear these control arms out faster. From what I'm finding, this bolt has a torque spec of 250 foot-pounds. That's the max that my torque wrench goes, but 250. And then these guys look like they're about 150, and then the little guy down there, that little guy's got one of about 50. Again, we've got 4 bolts in this thing, 250, 150, 150, and 50. And that should do you just fine. It's worth mentioning the driver's side here is harder because you just don't have a lot of room to get to that bolt. So you need a strong universal, and then your 250-pound torque wrench, and you like lean into it until it clicks. It's tough, but doable. And if you're still using a click-type torque wrench in 2025, you're our kind of people. Oh, God, there's just no better feeling. And because you already pulled the torque wrench out of the drawer and wiped the dust off of it, you might as well torque your lug nuts. I know it sounds weird, but 105 will do you just fine. Like I said, you got it. Use it. Passenger side control arm. Hardest part on this passenger side is getting this ball joint in. I really got to get a proper hammer at some point, but for now I got a rock. I've just been beating it into place. I got a screwdriver to try to stick in here and open up these little dog ears just a little bit. Whoo boy. I think I've got it enough in. I can use the jack now to get it all the way up. I was trying that before, but it just kept popping out. I couldn't get this thing to sit right. Wow. It just really didn't want to sit. So I set it all the way up and then I started hitting the front of it with this rock. Finally got it to sit. And you know it's in all the way when you can get the bolt through. And then of course it's flush there. Remember, everything loose until you get it to ride height. With the skid plate, if you're in a pinch, You can just zip tie through a couple of these frame holes until you can order the correct push pins from Amazon, or go to O'Reilly or AutoZone or Walmart, maybe Target, Sam's Club, Costco, potentially Advance Auto, Napa, CarQuest, but not Temu. And even though that zip tie thing will work, I went ahead and went to the Amazon. I bought second cheapest kit I could find. I'm gonna come in here and find the appropriate size based on the one that I broke. Yeah, I ended up using these guys. I don't know, just pick one that fits. Brand new little dirt skid plate. Job done. Road test. Safety flops.